everybody, this is JPar, and you are listening to the We Promise Nothing Show. Today on the show, we got Dave St. George of Talk Nerdy fame. Say hello to the crowd.
Hello, everyone. Glad to be back. Been a few years since I've been on any airwaves, but online or otherwise, so it's nice to dust off the old review skills. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, not a problem. Happy to have you here, Dave. And today we are going to be reviewing the new Superman movie. That's right, Superman, just Superman. No Superman Returns, no Superman Lives, no Man of Steel. It's just plain old Superman, directed by James Gunn. Now, what do you think so far of, first of all, let's start here, Dave. James Gunn directing a Superman movie. What do you think about that? Let's start there.
You know, I think I like so many, I fell in love with James Gunn work on Guardians of the Galaxy. He is the master of an ensemble movie, and I think he was able to make that come through here. When you see sort of that, everything from a buddy comedy to an actual touching moment, like he really weaves that together in his work, and I think him bringing that over. I was shocked to hear he had the reins at DC, not just, what he has now, but the whole movie direction is all his now. But I think it's a great move for DC. I mean, they were lacking. We know that. We know they were constantly behind Marvel movies, and they never had a solid hit. And this, I think, changes it, frankly. But we'll get into that in the reviews. But James Gunn, great move for DC.
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting, to make him the Kevin Feige of the DC universe is kind of an interesting take. And, and I don't blame them, especially, after the success of Guardians of the Galaxy, the ability for him to take these obscure Marvel characters and turn them into a mega blockbuster the way that he did. I don't blame DC for picking him up when Disney dropped him.
No, I don't blame him either. And we saw him come out strong already. Like, I watched Creature Commandos when it came out because I am famously a Suicide Squad fan, even the original one. And I thought he did great with his take on Suicide Squad. So when we hit Creature Commandos, I thought it was fantastic. So I knew when Superman was going to come out, like it was gonna hit the ground running. Like it's like they said, hey man, do what you do best, and we're just going to throw money at you, and it worked.
Absolutely. And of course, we are talking about the new Superman movie that's now in the theaters, directed by James Gunn, and also written by James Gunn, and starring David Cornsweet, what a name, Rachel Brosnahan, I never read her name before, Nicholas Hoult is in this as Lex Luthor, and of course there's many others like Nathan Fillion, fan favorite, known for doing Green Lantern's voice many times in cartoons. This is the first time he gets to play the Green Lantern, albeit it is the Guy Gardner version. First time he gets to portray a Green Lantern inside a live action film.
I think what's really neat about Nathan Fillion in this movie is this is really the first time a current generation is seeing him. Like you and I, we saw him in Firefly, and then we saw him in a variety, like he was in Castle and whatnot. So for those who aren't watching Castle and The Rookie, like for those of us folks who don't have syndicated cable, this is really the first time anyone's seeing Nate Fillion in a cinematic screen role that isn't a voiceover. And I think it's going to introduce him to a whole new generation. I hope they love him as much as we did. I loved him. I don't know if you hate him. I loved him.
No, I think he's great. He's hilarious. Yeah, he was in every Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
I did not know he was in every one.
Yeah, he is. He has a small cameo in every single one. It's a different character every time.
Huh. Obviously, we all know him in the third Guardians of the Galaxy as that security guard wearing the essentially flesh-colored Stay Puft Marshmallow Man suit. But I didn't know what he was in the first two. That's interesting.
Yeah, he is. I don't want to say exactly who they are because I don't remember exactly. So, and also, this is about Superman right now.
Yeah, it's about Superman. Yeah, exactly.
So let's get back to it. Superman. Now, me and you are both quite old, or at least by kids, most people's standards nowadays.
Yeah.
I'm sure both in our minds we're both young bucks, but let's be honest with ourselves. We've been around the block a few times. And we've seen a few variations of Superman, like quite a bit of variations of Superman, wouldn't you say?
A lot of variations, and each variation tries to do it differently. From Smallville to Superman Returns, and I think the secret to this one is that they didn't. They just made it, and I think that was good. So yeah, we've seen a lot of variations. My first exposure to Superman was this VHS tape my mom had from like this 1950s, it must have been 1960s cartoon, where Superman could only leap over tall buildings. He wasn't flying at that time. It was a cartoon, and he just jumped over to the Empire State Building. That was my first exposure to Superman, and since then, I thought he was great. I've always loved Superman. People think he's a bit vanilla.
Yeah,
I think that's not the case. I think he's DC's barometer, right? He's the best you could be, and all their characters are based around him. But he's still pretty interesting in his reflection of humanity in everything he's in. So that's why I like Superman. But yeah, I love Smallville. Superman Returns was a movie, and
it certainly was.
It certainly was. And I didn't hate Man of Steel. But I didn't love it as much as I like this.
So when you're talking about the old cartoons, you talk about those old Max Fleischer cartoons?
Yeah.
So the 1940s. So I don't know. Yeah, definitely old school.
I'm not that old. When we say
no, obviously not. But yeah. But like me, you're a student of nerddom and cartoons and comics and stuff like this. So if I would have found such a thing too, I'd be like, oh, right on. This is Superman. I mean, I don't really like Superman that much, but he's no He-Man. But let's put it on. He's no Spider-Man, but let's give it a go.
Hey, listen, when you talk about He-Man, there is a comic book where Superman fights He-Man.
That's right.
And I don't own it, but I want it. So if anyone out there has it, be happy.
Now, do you mean the old one or the new one? Because there's the old one where it's He-Man versus Superman, where Skeletor brainwashes He-Man, but then there's I think the Justice League versus the Masters of the Universe.
You know what? I forgot about the Justice League versus the Masters of the Universe. I was talking about Superman, He-Man, where Skeletor mind controls He-Man. I'm talking about a deep dive. But I did also read that other one. Anyway, Superman's great in every iteration. You guys should just like him.
All right, let me counter that for a moment. Now, I got to stay true to my roots. And if anyone remembers anything about the Superman 2 review we did here, which was, by the way, just a drunken shit show.
Yep.
Were you there for that one? Were you here for that? There?
No, but I've done a few, unfortunately, very drunken reviews with you. So I believe. I mean, I may have been on that review. I don't remember.
I don't remember either. I really should have listened to it before I did this. But man, did we get bombed on that one. But that movie was awful. Superman 2 is awful. And I'm going to say the same thing. You're going to hate me for this. I'm going to say the same thing for pretty much almost every Superman movie is pretty bad. Christopher Reeves. Go ahead.
I mean, I thought we were friends, man. You think you know a guy.
Hey, I've always been a Batman guy.
Yeah, I mean, I get it.
And I've always been more of a Marvel guy. But here's the thing. I hear your love for Now, let me explain this whole thing because this is probably going to be a long explanation. I hear your love for Superman, and when Zoob was on the show, he loves Superman too. So this kind of broke his heart a little bit when I said that I don't really like Superman too much.
JPar the heartbreaker.
You're saying that he's like a bland character. I kind of agree. He's like this character. He's just he's super fast. He's super strong. He's super this. He's got heat ray vision. He's got icy cold breath. It's oh my god, when does it end? It's just and it's crazy. You have to make up something insane like kryptonite just to make this guy interesting, right? Or at least that's what it seems. That's what they would have you believe. So, when you watch, for at least, most of these movies that I've watched, the Superman, in my opinion, have been kind of stinky. I don't, Christopher Reeves is a great Superman, but those movies suck. I'm sorry. I get so bored of those damn Superman movies. The one that everyone hates where he fights, Solar Man or Sun Man? I like that one, because I'm oh, geez, he's actually fighting a supervillain for once. He's the most powerful man on the damn earth. No one can stop him, and his rival is Lex Luthor, who has no powers, which is so damn boring. Or that's what they would have you believe. So let's fast forward a little bit, okay? So
All right.
the Superman comics. So like my first introduction to Superman, I really don't remember if it was the comics or the first Superman movie. It was probably comics because I had a lot of comics when I was a kid, and guaranteed I had some Supermans in there. So that was probably my first introduction to Superman, and then maybe the Christopher Reeves movies, the first one specifically.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay.
And then, so I'm just like I'm already at this point where it's like they made Batman cool, but they hadn't made Superman cool in my eyes yet, right? And I'm just like, and that's the thought I got going in my head. I'm just like why does he just got every power? It's so boring. He's like your standard superhero. He's just too perfect. And it's like every time they make like a live action version of him, it's like he never takes on any superheroes. So let's get on to the future. Lois and Clark. Okay, did you forget about Lois and Clark?
Wow, I absolutely forgot about Lois and Clark, The Adventures of Superman. Wow.
I kind of somewhat enjoyed Lois and Clark.
Yeah, me too. I particularly loved their Mr. Mxyzptlk episode.
I didn't see that. No, I didn't see that one.
It's a good one.
See, I don't really remember too much of it. I remember liking it a bit at first, and then I was like, and then I just kind of came to the same realization. I'm like, this guy never fights any supervillains. This is so boring. This
all right,
sucks.
not enough budget for
all
you.
right.
Hey,
fast forward.
Supervillains cost money, man. They cost money. They gotta,
no kidding. Just ask the animators at Disney how much they cost.
Yeah, they absolutely.
And by the way, you're all not getting paid. We're gonna get AI to finish it for us.
I know, right? There's a podcast topic all in and of itself.
Absolutely, but let's start here. All right, so now fast forward. I'm reading Wizard Mag. Right, I'm telling you, I'm living in the '90s. I'm a kid living in the '90s. I love Batman the Animated Series. I'm reading a Wizard magazine, and they're telling me they're gonna do the same treatment they did with Batman to Superman. All right, I'm interested to see this. It's going to be a continued universe from Batman the Animated Series, and they're going to make it look like basically Batman the Animated Series, but it's Superman. All right, I'll check this out. I'm kind of interested. I don't really like Superman. He's all right. He's not great. He's no Spider-Man. He's no Batman. He's no He-Man. But let's check this out.
Listen, and before you continue, obviously it's impossible to compare anything to the '90s Spider-Man cartoon. You have to throw that caveat in, but keep going.
All right. Finally, Saturday morning, when Saturday morning cartoons were good on the Warner Brothers network, DC finally gives me something of substance that's called Superman, and it's Superman the Animated Series. And it blew my socks off. I'm like, holy shit! This is what Superman can be? This is kind of cool. I like this. There's a continued universe from the Batman universe. And this Superman isn't a wimp or a Boy Scout. Like, he's a good guy, but he ain't no pussy, you know? Like, he stands up to Lex Luthor, and Lex Luthor is, like, actually a cool bad guy in this. And Lois Lane is like a sexy smartass. I'm like, all right, I'm down with this version of Superman. He eventually fights Lobo. They like make some new villains. They he actually fights super villains, and they're actually good stories when he fights them because they kind of take what they did with Batman the Animated Series and apply to the Superman. They even did like their own version of Supergirl. Like, I really love Superman the Animated Series. And then, of course, obviously, that continues into Justice League later on, which continues that whole DC animated universe.
And it's amazing. It is absolutely amazing. I think it was a great show. I'm with you on that. I love this. You're not hurting me at all. I'm with you. Frankly, I'm falling in love with you more.
All right.
For this cartoon review, at least. But I'm open to my heart being broken still.
Fast forward a little bit more. Superman Returns. Black.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Man of Steel. All right. I really wanted to like this one. I like Henry Cavill. He looks like a cool Superman. Like, he actually looks like Superman. He's a muscle-bound dude. Like, this kind of works. I'm kind of interested to see. Maybe we do need a darker Superman. I don't know. Man of Steel. He lets his dad fly away in a tornado. I'm over it. Kind of over it. I wanted to like Man of Steel.
Okay.
I never revisited it. And I'm like, this is too dark. I don't think this is the direction we needed to go with Superman.
Okay, all right. And you're right. The whole tornado scene was absolutely ridiculous. Like his dad's "hold on, let me cook" moment, and then gets sucked into a tornado. Okay, I mean, even I have eyes. Even I understand that he's like, you know what? How about I just die instead? You know, I bet you there's a whole backstory that led up to that. He was probably living a pretty sad life. I think that he just decided this is it. But
how can he have a sad life? He raised an alien son. How amazing is that?
Yeah, but he didn't seem happy about it at all.
It's like, you don't understand, son. I used to be Robin Hood.
Yeah,
I've been living a really long time.
I used to live a better life. Take care of your red son.
One time I was a fish man. It didn't go well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was true. Oh yeah, but okay, so
don't ever look up Waterworld, son. I'm going now.
Waterworld. There's another review. But getting into the Man of Steel, because obviously we're talking about the past. I think the Man of Steel was really good to show folks a bit of Superman's like complexity. I found that movie was good for showing his conflict between like what he should do versus what he wanted to do. Like obviously it got dark. I mean that's just Zack Snyder. He's dark. You know, that's
dark.
Fine. Yeah, and that was the time. Every movie was dark back then.
And here's the thing. You're right.
Gritty realism.
They wanted him to do a Dark Knight version of Superman, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we ended up getting. It wasn't really Zack Snyder's fault. He gave them what they wanted. And I wanted to like those movies. Trust me. When they put the trailer out for Batman vs. Superman, all right, I'm like, okay, Ben Affleck's Batman, but this should be pretty cool. Batman vs. Superman on the big screen. Terribly disappointed. Terribly disappointed.
That was absolutely built up for nothing. That was, I mean, we can talk about Martha all day, but
Martha, why'd you say that name?
Oh my god! But I think we have to really look at Superman, the Man of Steel. Like everyone talks about the killing of Zod when he killed Zod. Okay, obviously that wasn't very Superman. And that was saying it was taking it a very different direction.
Yeah.
But Superman, but you just said you love Superman when he wasn't so much of a Boy Scout. And I don't think he is as much of a Boy Scout. In the comics, we do see him, unfortunately, he has killed people. He just had to, you know? So I think that got a bad fan reaction. I think it really played well. And you saw how much it hurt him. I think Superman, I don't know why I'm defending this movie. We're talking about different Superman, but I'm very heated. Because I think Man of Steel does a great job of showing his internal conflict with being human versus alien, and I loved it. But Ben Affleck versus Superman, that movie was absolutely garbage, and I'm so sorry that happened. Did you see the Flash where they go back to that Superman universe? Yes. Unfortunately, yeah, it was also garbage.
Like, we got to get into this Superman review because we're still talking about the past. But I will say this: you could probably cut up all those Ben Affleck scenes in all those movies and probably make a good Batman movie out of it. You could cut up, because every time they like showed like a Ben Affleck do Batman stuff, it was cool. But every other time, it was just lame.
Yeah, I see. I actually didn't hate him as Batman. I thought he was written poorly. I thought Ben Affleck could have been a decent Batman if he had a better everything else.
Yeah, I think so too. I think just bad writing for him.
Yeah, it was unfortunate. That was fortunate.
But let's move forward, and we could talk about that Flash movie another time if you want. But right now, the people want to hear what we're thinking of the new Superman, so let's talk about this now. That's the past. Now let's talk about 2025. It's Superman. And you know what? I think we need to just get into it. What's your best and worst?
I have a couple of bests, actually. Best, shockingly, is the portrayal of Lois Lane. I mean, this actress
That's
was
the best?
No, one of my best. Not the best,
okay.
One of my best.
The portrayal or the betrayal?
No, the portrayal. No, here's an actress who just dominated on The Marvelous Miss Maisel. Wildly accepted, wildly loved. She can play a powerful woman. She can play a strong woman. Comes over, brings it over to the Lois Lane performance. Absolutely kills it. Acts fearless. I thought that was fantastic. I also really loved how this movie showed. Let's take them like there's that scene. I'm not going to get into spoilers, sorry, but Superman being normal amidst chaos. Because there are
Yeah.
times in the movie where things are happening that you would think, oh, Superman should go to that. But even he makes comments, oh, the police have this. Oh, so-and-so has this. And we see a bit more of, okay, he's not Superman 24 hours a day. He is also Clark Kent. And it gives us the opportunity to see that without ignoring that there is danger in the world. Ultraman was not my favorite part. I will tell you that's the worst, I guess. And let's talk about Lex Luthor. I loved this portrayal of Lex Luthor. I think Lex Luthor is an interesting character, and I love that he loves two things. He loves mankind and he loves himself. And we always see that conflict in him. He loves himself in this movie and he loves mankind, which drives his hate of Superman, because he says consistently that Superman has dominated the discussion. Mankind cannot advance. And we see this theme in every iteration of Lex Luthor, but we also really see an amazing portrayal of this, of how much he loves himself and how much that is driven from a jealousy of Superman. And that really kind of comes through in this movie. And I think that is such a fleshed out character. And I think once again, James Gunn did a great job in an ensemble. I think he did a great job.
Okay. You can talk about spoilers now, by the way, and this is your warning now, everybody. If you haven't seen the movie yet, we are going to talk about spoilers when we do the best and worst. So finish up your best and worst thoughts since you can get into spoilers.
Oh, absolutely. So there's a scene with Perry Mason, and I love this scene, where the New York City is falling apart. It is being ripped open from the ground, and Lois Lane has just blew the lid off this whole story. And it's the scene in the Daily Planet when we see Jimmy Olsen, we see Lois Lane, we see Perry Mason, and they're just, amidst the chaos, focusing on what they do best, which is tell the news. And like everyone's running for their lives, when obviously part of the evacuation effort, but they're also doing their job. I thought it was a beautiful, beautiful scene, in the sense that it just wrapped in so well with what the average person was doing amongst the superhero effort. And I love that. My least liked, I did not like Ultraman. I never like Ultraman. Maybe I've seen Ultraman done better. Well, even then, not well. I didn't like. It just seemed like he was
more like Bizarro than Superman.
Yeah,
or Ultraman. I mean.
Yeah, exactly. It was Bizarro and Ultraman kind of combined.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like that version is going to come back later and be Bizarro, maybe, or something.
Yeah, maybe. That's the only way I can imagine if he comes back from wherever he got sent to at the end in that other universe.
Yeah, black hole or whatever he went through, yeah.
Black hole, yeah. I just feel that it sort of cheats itself if Lex Luthor made a clone of Superman and he wasn't able to piece together who Superman was. And I get it. We talk about the hypno glasses, but at the end of the day, like we have to help us with our suspension of disbelief. Don't add an extra step that we have to take on the suspension of disbelief. So that I didn't really like that part, and we all knew what it was.
Make a good point with that.
Yeah, right. Like it just we knew what Ultraman was. We knew when they watched it. Like it was no big reveal. All right, yeah, you clone Superman. He looks like maybe folks who may not know the Superman genre, but even then, I'm sure audiences are smart and they can put it together. So that wasn't too bad. And I think it's hard to find a lot bad with this film for me. I didn't love his parents.
Yeah,
I didn't love his parents. I thought,
his parents were too old.
Too old, maybe. Yeah,
because he's for how old he is. His parents should be like 10 or 20 years younger, or 10, 15 years younger, or something. Yeah, they tried to make them too too country, too Kansas. Like, I don't know. Like, I think that's what Christopher Reeve's parents would have been more like. You know what I mean? But this Superman's parents, I feel like, because he's in a modern day, his parents should be a little bit younger.
Well, and it just seems incongruent, because so when Clark goes there to rest, Lois brings him in the terrific sphere ship, and the next day his mom says something. Hey, you should see what's on the box. Ma'am, that was a flat screen television. There's no way you even call it the box.
Right, that's what I mean. They feel like time travelers in this movie.
Yeah, and I didn't think, like, if you're really trying to get the cliche values of Midwest America, I don't think you needed to go 50 years ago.
And here's the thing, this movie very much has its feet set into modern day. Like, the themes and the things that are happening in this DC world are based on modern day, and they're using phones and all that kind of stuff. So because if everything else is updated, his parents need to be updated too. And and yeah, you're right. They're totally don't belong. They should be. I mean, let's be honest, they didn't actually have Clark, so it doesn't really matter what age they actually are, I suppose. But it's just, it feels like, I don't know, it feels like his parents were a little more with it, especially when, you watch the animated series, which, once again, is my favorite iteration of Superman. So, when I watch this movie, I'm going to keep comparing it to Superman the Animated Series. So let me get into my best and worst, and you can tell me about a few other things too, because I really want to set the tone, and I don't think we've really got that, because I know when people were asking me about this movie, they wanted to know a few things right off the hop, and one of the first things they wanted to know is this an origin movie? Is it an origin story? And the answer is no. You don't have to worry about that. If you're wondering about going to see another Superman movie and having to go through his boring origin again because you've already seen it 5,000 times, well, you don't have to do that. And I'm going to start with this. This is my favorite thing and the best thing about the Superman movie, is that metahumans, superhumans, they already exist in this world before he even showed up. So at the very beginning, this is why this movie is so good, in my opinion. Or at least this is why it gets you interested right away. Alright, so right at the beginning, it's like, it basically just says, like, hey, there's superheroes in the world, who Superman is, he's raised by his parents are, like, from Kansas, so it's like 3 centuries ago, the first superpowered beings known as metahumans appeared on Earth, ushering in a new era of gods and monsters, which is a reference to the comics there, Gods and Monsters. 3 decades ago, an extraterrestrial baby was sent in a spacecraft to Earth and adopted by Kansas farmers. 3 years ago, the baby, now grown, announces himself as Superman, the most powerful metahuman of all. 3 weeks ago, Superman stopped the country of Boravia from invading Jaranpur, sparking controversy around the world. 3 hours ago, a metahuman called the Hammer of Boravia attacked Superman in the city of Metropolis. 3 minutes ago, Superman lost a battle for the first time. And then you see him go flying, land in the snow, and then that's the scene in the trailer where Krypto comes, he whistles for Krypto, and Krypto comes for him. That's the very, very, very first scene. So they give you all these words right quick, just to give you a quick premise of what this DC universe is. Basically to say, it's like, hey, we know you know what superheroes are. We know you know who Superman is. This is what's happening. He got into a fight. Let's go. And that's how they start you off. Yeah, they start you off with that Krypto scene. There is no boring ass Krypton blowing up, his rocket landing in Kansas, his parents find him, he slowly learns how to become Superman. None of that crap. And it's good. We need that. And we need more movies like this. We've seen enough superhero origin movies. We know everybody's origin at this point. For the most part, especially Superman, everyone knows.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
You need to do this. And this is why, so this is my favorite thing, and this is the best about the Superman movie. Superheroes already exist, and they're not going to bore you with the origin story of Superman because he's not the first superhero in this world. It's not that important to the story. So, boom, here you are. You're in the DC universe. They smack you right in, and you're in, and you're good to go. You're already in kind of an action scene. Something's already happening. The world's already moving before you arrived. That's awesome. That's what a Superman movie has needed to do this whole time. That's why I got so bored with Superman movies. I'm like, this guy's the only superhero in the whole damn world. No villain can take him. I know there's other superheroes. I know there's other supervillains, but they never show them in the movies or anything. That's why I love Superman the Animated Series, because actually it was more like the comics, where they would pull the characters from the comics and they actually modernized them and made good stories with them. That's what I was expecting of this Superman, and that's kind of what I got from this Superman movie. And that's why I gotta say I like it. But
I think you're dead on. Yeah, no, I'm just agreeing with you. I think you're dead on that. I think it doesn't treat the audience like an idiot. It brings them in right away. It accepts what you know, and then rewards you for it. and that's what you're like. That's so important, right?
Mm-hmm. Now, let me get into my worst, and you're going to hate me for this because my worst is one of your best.
Heartbroken already.
Now, I didn't have a problem with the actress who played Lois Lane in any way. Since we're into spoilers, as soon as that first action scene goes and you see the logo of Superman, they introduce you to Clark Kent and basically his dynamics with his fellow co-workers at the Daily Planet, you get to realize what his relationship is with Lois Lane. And I will say this. So this scene, I think, is going to make or break a few people in this Superman movie, because when this scene played out where Lois interviews Clark as Superman and she basically throws him under the bus, and I'm like, what are you talking about, woman? I'm just like, you lost your fucking mind. Do you even like this guy? Like, what are you saying? So I'm just
I think I loved that part. Yeah, you're right. You and I are on different ends of the spectrum here. Oh, wow. Okay, keep going.
I hated that. I'm like, okay, I know Lois is a bitch sometimes, but this is ridiculous. I'm like, I get it. It's a modern day Superman. I get where they're going with this. I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this. So I kind of I let that scene play out. I'm like, okay, whatever. Just watch a little bit more. Just watch a little more. See what I think. And I kept going. And then some other fun stuff happened. I'm like, all right, we meet the Justice Gang, you know. Then they go into the pocket dimension. I'm like, this is really weird. I don't know if I like this movie. And then it got to the end, and when I finally got to the end, I was more happy than I was definitely happy. Another thing I like about this movie. So I'm gonna go back to what I think. I think there's some people think that Superman, he's like, oh, he's the strongest. He's strong, so I'm like Superman. I'm strong. I lift weights and stuff, and I wear a Superman shirt. I'm strong. You know, like, I don't know. That's what I think.
It's the right of every middle-aged man to wear a Superman shirt in the gym. It is our God-given right.
You're right. But I'm just like, but I don't think, like, I think, here's the thing. I don't think Superman should be, like, I mean, this is a different Superman. And I know that the audiences are split on this Superman. And I think the people who like old Superman movies, I don't think they're going to like this. And I think people like maybe I'm wrong because you seem to like it. Maybe there's just people who are going to like it no matter what if it's Superman. I don't know. But it's like, I feel like the people who don't like this, I think they'd be the ones who like a traditional Christopher Reeves kind of Superman, which is fine, but I just don't like those kinds of movies. And
it's interesting you say that, because when I was in the theater watching it, I overheard someone with that exact comment. So you're not wrong, because I remember some guy being like, well, it's dumb. Superman's like the most invincible. He shouldn't get hit. So you're right. There are going to be people who want the old one. Like, you're like, it's so wild you said that. Like, it was happening in live action as I was watching it.
Yeah. But to me, that's boring. Like, I like Superman in the animated series because he actually fights supervillains and he gets his ass kicked a lot. Like, Lobo shows up and kicks his fucking ass for like 2 episodes, and it's one of the fucking best fucking two-parter. It's probably the best 2 episodes in the series. Like, but it's so good.
Yeah, so good. Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Incredible.
And it's because, and what they did in those, and because I'm actually going through the Superman animated series again, I'm revisiting it right currently. What they've done in those, in that cartoon series is they made him, I'm not going to say made him more like Batman, but they kind of did. He uses his brain more than just pure strength. And I think in this Superman movie, I saw something that I really, really, really enjoyed. It's such a stupid scene. I'm sure there's someone out there, they're going to be like, that's so stupid. But this, I think, epitomizes what Superman should be. There's a scene in this movie where he saves a squirrel.
Oh, the squirrel scene. Yes. It's fun. Once again, happening in real time. I have overheard conversations about this exact problem, the squirrel problem.
And I think it's great that he saved the squirrel, because to me, that's what Superman should be. He should be someone who tries to save every life form on Earth, because especially if you go with the narrative that they're going with, because his the broken up message sent by his parents from Krypton, where they're basically saying to him, like, protect these beings because they're going to be like weaker than you, and he doesn't get to hear the rest of the message, but he takes the good part of the message, and he kind of like, I'm going to protect everybody and everything on this planet, like every little living thing that I possibly can. You know what I mean? So you even see this play out many times, and this is why. And so instead of making Superman the strongest, which he still is the strongest, by the way, just because he gets his ass kicked doesn't mean he's not the strongest.
It's pretty strong.
But it shows the reason why he's better is not because he's strong, but because he actually cares. And he tries to be a good person. All the other superheroes, they don't give a shit. They will murder. It's like, oh, big-ass creature attacking the city? Oh, let's blow its stomach up. It's like,
that's a great piece. Yeah, you're right. And we see it come through again, him being like, I could have dealt with this right away, but I'm trying to keep it alive.
Right.
And you see that in that scene, and also it goes back to what you said about him being the strongest. He's strong enough to take that creature. He doesn't need the Justice Gang to come in.
No, he doesn't.
He's just trying to keep it alive.
He's also trying to stop maximum damage from happening, because everything the Justice Gang does seems to harm the people around them because they're in a city. So anytime they do something to the creature, it smashes into a building. Superman flies in the way, he blocks it, he holds it up so it doesn't break the building down. He saves a little girl, he saves the fucking squirrel, he saves, you know what I mean? Even right at the end, when they blow up the stump and the creature's falling down, he's like, ugh. He just kind of sighs and he has to catch the creature again so it doesn't land on people. Because the Justice Gang are reckless. They don't really care. They just care about being heroes, and I get the feeling that they're not the only ones like this. I get the feeling that all the other superheroes are going to be like this, and Superman's going to be their beacon of justice kind of deal, so to speak. Like, because he's going to be one that's actually good, trying to help people. And I think that is more important in the Superman character than making sure he's the strongest and never gets his ass kicked.
I completely agree with you, and I love this point, because it really shows his humanity. He doesn't need to protect. It's following his parents' message, but he doesn't need to. But he wants to help. He wants to be good. He identifies with humanity, and we see it so much in this piece. Because he's coming from a different point of view. He's a super powerful alien coming down to be a human, whereas the Justice Gang were humans.
Yes.
Who were brought up to power to aliens. So you see the moral difference when we really showing the Justice Gang as people who have essentially average morality be with superpowers. Well, now they're going to be a little reckless, but Superman is coming from was a godlike character down to humanity, trying to be normal. Yeah, and you really see that point here. I think that really highlights the differences, like you're talking about.
Well, it's a point that's made continuously in the movie. Because even to your point of where Lex Luthor, and they actually did a really good job with the Lex Luthor character in this, because they actually summed him up pretty dang good, which I didn't think they ever really did before, except for in the animated series. And in the comics, like this Luthor is exactly like the one in the comics. He was the guy who was so smart that he was supposed to change humanity, and he was supposed to be basically their Superman until an alien came along and stole all away his glory away and everything away. And that's why he blames Superman. Because he wants, and like you said, he keeps going back on. There's a line that he says. It's kind of like Superman kind of asks him like why he does this kind of thing, and it's like his answer is because I can't remember what he says. But it's basically because he thinks he's protecting humanity from him, like from Superman, from the aliens, because. Like, he thinks he's doing, like, this Lex Luthor thinks he's justified in everything he does. Like, he thinks he's right in what he's doing, because as long as getting rid of Superman is the end goal, then he's going to save humanity in his eyes.
It's the greater good. He's a greater good anti-hero. Absolutely. And what's fascinating about this character is that he doesn't say that about any of the other metahumans. If Superman didn't exist, would it be Lex Luthor? Would he be jealous of Guy Gardner? Would he be jealous of Mr. Terrific? No, and that highlights also his jealousy. Yes. And I think that really makes him such a great character.
Yeah, and and to really drive that point home, and this was something that, so this isn't one of my this isn't something I don't like from it, but it kind of hit me the wrong way when they first translated the rest of the message from Kal-El and Superman's mother, and they made it so it's like, oh yeah, go to Earth, take over Earth, and then basically impregnate the Earth women and have your own superhuman harem, basically. You know, basically make Kryptons on Earth by doing that. Being Genghis Khan, basically, is what they wanted him to be. But he didn't know that's what the rest of the message was. It was only like Luthor's meta-human crony that translated it for him. And then so there's that. And then, of course, it's like Superman's like... basically his public image. A lot of Superman's public image is something that's covered in this. So I think that's another thing that might make it a bit divisive for people they might not like this, because it does seem like there's politics and modern day ideologies in this. But what they're trying to, I think they did it in a good way. Normally I wouldn't want to see this crap in a movie, but I thought they tackled it in a smart way to kind of show you how Superman would be in this kind of modern day society, the way things are, and I thought they did it okay. Now, obviously, the parallels they're driving are pretty obvious if you know anything about the news. But let's just forget about that, because they used to do that all the time in movies, and people never used to question it. You can do that in a certain way where it doesn't insult the audience. Like, you could be like, okay, this is kind of like this. We know you know it's kind of like this. It's similar to this, but we're not telling you how to think about it. This is just a part of the story. You know what I mean? And that's what I feel a lot of movies, they go astray with trying to make you think a certain way about modern day politics or something, but this doesn't do that. This is just a story.
Yeah, well, you see it too, like just to give a comparison, Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, you know, where he fights, I think it was Nuclear Man as we fought. It was all about, you know, this movie came out when? Like in the
80-something?
83. So we're still hyped off the Cold War. We're still talking about nuclear weapons with Russia, and this is about interactions with the Soviets. This is about fighting Russia's nuclear man. Like, this is so politics have always been in movies, and Superman has tackled it before. So I agree with you that it's not surprising to see him tackle it again, but once again in a way that doesn't insult the audience.
Mm-hmm. And politics are, if anyone's read any of the more modern DC comics, you'll know that politics are heavily influenced in those stories.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's what this is trying to be. This is trying to be more of a comic-based Superman, where he's in a much bigger DC universe, where it's, as opposed to, hey, here's Superman, and he's the most powerful guy in the whole world, and nobody can compare. Now it's like, okay, well, now there's a whole bunch of other superhumans, and there might be some problems sometimes. But and so what you're saying, so that's what really brings out, and they really drive this point at the end when he speaks to Lex Luthor. That's what makes him more human, because he took the message from his parents from Krypton, and he thought that was the message to take to, kind of protect people and be this beacon of hope and good for the world. And then he ends up finding out it's like there was much more to the message. They had all this other stuff to say, like, oh, go and take over the planet, basically. Yeah, but then in the end, they kind of show you he's actually just really close to his Earth parents. And it's his closeness to his Earth parents and the way they raised him is what makes him human. And that's what makes him more human than Lex Luthor, is the point that he kind of says to him at the end. It's like he says that's his strength. I think Superman himself says that's my strength, is my humanity.
And it boxes it up perfectly in that moment. And I think we see, it was almost a comforting feeling when I watched it, not just because the resolution for the movie, but also just, it was just something I was familiar with, like his struggle with humanity. I felt good in that moment. When you watch it, you're like, heck yeah, you want to believe in Superman at that point. You want him to feel like he's human, and he really shows it in that moment. And I think that was really great, frankly. I definitely had a hard time with Lex's cronies, but everything else about that moment was perfect.
Yeah, so to kind of sum up my best and worst, so my best is the fact that he's in this great big grand DC universe before it even exists. They don't tell you they don't give you another boring origin story. They just kind of start you in the action. You're already in the world, And also the way they portrayed Superman as, like I said, his humanity is more his strength than his strength being a strength. And it's not to say that he's still not strong. Yeah, he does get his butt whooped, but so he did in the animated series as well. They're just making Superman unique in a different way, or at least that's the way I see it. They're making, and the way I see it, and honestly, I think the way Superman actually should be, in my opinion, because when I see like what Superman could be, I don't think of like, oh, well, I do think that he's the strongest superhero or whatever, but also I think that's boring. So we got to give him something that's interesting. And what makes him interesting, even though he's an alien, he's more human than even some humans.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you nailed it. You nailed it so well in that, yeah.
And what did you think about Crypto in this movie?
Well, a fair bit better than Super Pets, the movie. So
we're already off to a great start.
Yeah, exactly. That was a full-length motion picture. So this is a little bit we saw the dog. I think the dog was fantastic. Crypto brings a new energy, and it's instead of treating Crypto like a superhero, we see him treated like a dog. The director treats him like a dog would be. What would a dog do if a dog had superpowers? Well, he'd run around crazy. He'd pull on people's capes. He'd cause havoc, Because how do you punish a super dog? And, right. Or train a super dog, I should say. And I think it was just a brilliant addition to the movie.
And I didn't know how I was gonna feel about it at first. It's obviously there to bring in fans, and so you can sell more plushies and action figures and swag. Yeah. But it's very obvious, and we've seen James Gunn implement this before with the baby Groot and such. So it's almost like not a surprise. Now, like you said, I thought like that Crypto was just gonna be like kind of like a superhero dog. He's just gonna like kind of listen to what Superman says, and he's just gonna do it. But he ends up just being, I'm sorry, but a complete asshole.
Absolute menace. Yeah.
You think like the scene they show you in the trailer, where it's like, okay, you see Superman laying in the snow. He's obviously hurt. He whistles for the dog. The dog comes and he's just gonna automatically bring him to the Fortress of Solitude because that's what he does. He's a good boy. Yeah. That's not the truth. Like, they actually show you the dog sees him, starts jumping all over him, and he's like in physical pain. He's like, hey, stop! He's like yelling at the dog.
And that scene in the pocket dimension where they're trying to get him to do certain things, like, he doesn't listen. Like, I imagine that's how I panically would try to control my dog in a situation. I'm like, or what is he going to listen to? Okay, ball, this, that, and then that really, like, every dog owner felt that. Every dog owner felt that moment.
And it's a consistent joke throughout the whole movie, too. Like, this dog, once again, you think the dog's just going to be, like, a superhero right there, like a good companion for Superman right beside him, but it's not like that. Like, the jokes, like you said, they wrote Crypto as a dog, not a super dog. It's like just like Lois driving the terrific Mr. Terrific ship there. The dog's like sitting on her lap, like she's like, seriously, dog, like
that's what dogs do, man, and that's perfect. Also, I know I heard some people complain about like, well, why would a dog wear a cape? And like, don't tell me every pet owner doesn't put clothes on their animals.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Even I used to be a sworn advocate against clothing on dogs. Why? I don't know. I was boring once. And now, little handkerchiefs or little thing, like, I'm all in, So superheroes would do the same.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what a weird thing to complain about. Like, we're talking about a super dog in a superhero movie, and your gripe is that it wears a cape? Like, that's your biggest hang-up? Of all the weird stuff that happens in this movie, all the really, really weird stuff that happens in this movie, your hang-up is that the dog wears a cape. Totally unbelievable. Dog's wearing clothes.
Absolutely. Out. Soon they're going to be marrying cats, voting.
I can buy that a man can fly. All right.
Yeah.
I can buy this little tiny creature can grow up into this big monstrous thing and attack the city. I believe that someone could have a pocket dimension that could split the Earth in half. dog with a cape? I'm out of here.
Out. And speaking of James Gunn's brilliance on that, you said you're right. He's the master of the cute, stuffy merchandising marketing, and so smart to introduce him to us in this movie. And we know clearly he's going to be in the Supergirl movie.
Yes, 100%.
So all that marketing is going to carry over.
Yes,
like he's already sold to us. He doesn't have to work. He doesn't have to work it anymore. We're excited. We're going to go see Supergirl. Some people just to see the dog.
Probably. I assume
pretty
that.
dang smart. Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people who went to go see this movie just because of the dog. Because the way the marketing is.
That was, and we traditionally see Crypto as sort of, I don't know, that Balto looking dog.
Yes.
As like a strong husky or
that's
something
what I
like
expected,
that.
actually.
Exactly. So to see him as like a smaller kind of, let's be honest, little yappy dog. He's not like a tiny lap dog, but he's still smaller than a husky. And I thought that was a nice change too. Like everything about this flipped my expectations. So I had no other choice but to learn about it as if I was learning about Crypto for the first time.
I think there's another great scene. I think after all the pain in the ass stuff that Crypto does, and like even Superman's like, dude, because the place is like destroyed, and even the robots, they say that they don't care what happens to the dogs, so
yeah,
they're not gonna train it. They literally say that. And so after all the pain in the ass stuff that the dog goes through, right at the end where like kind of like Superman is having that important discussion that we talked about, where he's talking to Luthor about like his humanity versus his humanity, and I think it's just like Lex is just still being nasty to Superman even after Superman says a nice thing. He says like, I hope one day you could see, you could be like, you could help people the way I do, or something to that effect. Once again, I'm paraphrasing here. But he says that, and then Lex Luthor says something nasty in return because he's Lex Luthor. And then right at that moment, Crypto jumps on Luthor and basically does the puny god moment with Luthor as he shakes him all over, and everyone's like losing, like, whoa, whoa, whoa! So it's like, Superman, he's too good, just like punch Lex Luthor in the face, but his dog don't give a shit, and it's gonna shake the shit out of Luthor just for being such an asshole. So the dog kind of pays off at the end, because after all these jerk ass things that the dog does, you're like, yeah, get him, Crypto.
Absolutely. And Crypto also as a device, right? So we know Luthor's bad, but how do we hate Luthor? Well, we have him hate a dog. It's the John Wick of it all. We don't want we as the audience don't want the dog to be hurt either. So we see Luthor as not just a villain, but scum of the earth, and that seals it. So when that payoff comes of him getting ripped around by the dog, it's even more satisfying. And that's like that 1-2 punch that I love. Yeah.
And that's an awfully good setup, honestly, for that dog. And like you said, even the brilliance of, like, I don't want to pump James Gunn up too much, but it was pretty smart to make the dog not just a cutesy character, but to make it act like a real dog. Because, like you said, every dog owner felt those moments when Crypto was just being an asshole.
Yeah, like my dog, absolute jerk. And I know when I try to call it inside and it's not doing what I want, I'm like Superman. I'm thinking of every damn thing to get this dog inside. And I can't imagine the stress of that in a Pocket universe. Like, it was so well done, man. And you're right, I don't want to pump up James Gunn like he's a god either. But, you have to admit when someone knocks it out of the park. And he did. He absolutely did on this one.
Yeah, at least definitely for, the whole Crypto thing.
Yeah, for Crypto at least, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the dog, and like, it's a relief almost because, a lot of people were unsure of Crypto.
Oh, yeah.
And I were unsure of Crypto.
Same here.
So to feel that relief that we immediately fall in love with him, it's like we almost accept the rest of the film because it's right in the beginning that we see him.
And like I said, we couldn't have done this review without talking about Crypto. He's one of the main selling features of the movie, and I think a lot of people did go see this movie just to finally see like a live action version of Crypto.
Yeah.
So let's do a review. The best out of 5 stars, and you could say why you got there.
Whew, opening it up, man. This is it's been a while since I've given a movie a review. I feel like I gotta dust off the criteria in my mind, And I went pretty early actually. I think I went on a sneak preview Thursday. Like I went like early. Like, there were still popcorn buckets in there, so I was unfazed by popular opinion. So I got a pretty raw experience out of it. Popcorn buckets were also like $64. That is absolutely insane. I love the people who collect them, but like $64 for pop. I am not that kind of money.
But for pop figures?
No, for the popcorn. They have specialized popcorn buckets.
Yeah.
And one of them was like $64, $74.
What, are you kidding me?
Yeah, it was
That's
because it was still
insane.
they still had them because I was there on a Thursday, like the Thursday before it actually opened, because they have like those sneak previews where, and I was like, that is wonderful for whoever buys those. I do not have $74 popcorn money, but I value that you like to collect things. But that is absolutely absurd. So negative for the popcorn bucket, so for the movie itself, I'm gonna say it wasn't absolutely perfect, and because I know I'm being slanted by it being so much better than the others. Like, I still like Man of Steel, but I still think this blows Man of Steel out of the water. So I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5, and my reasons are, like I said, I think we needed a strong Lois Lane. I think because Superman's such a strong character, we needed a Lois Lane that also came out punching, but in a different way. And I think that immediately sets her on the stage of being sort of an admirable companion. Not a companion, but an equal to Superman, which is what really this movie was trying to get, I think. And I loved his humanity. I loved some of the banter, the ensemble cast. I love the Daily Planet scenes. So I guess I really like about all the other stuff around Superman. I like Superman 2, of course. And the downfall, like I said, I think his parents were too folksy, pattery, a little off. Yeah, and I just didn't like the whole Ultraman. It's just lazy. It's lazy superhero writing. Oh, the bad guy is the human, the guy. Oh, it's
the evil version of the hero again.
Yeah. Again, that's like, the movie's so creative in so many ways.
Yeah.
To boil it down to that, I know Lex is.
But really Marvel has done that to death already.
Exactly, and I think it could have treated us smart as an audience there, in a movie that treats us so well and intelligently as an audience.
Metallo could have been a perfect fit too.
Could have been a perfect fit, and he even could have a redemption arc at the end. Like, heck, Lex had his kid. I will buy that. It doesn't need to be complicated. It just doesn't need to be the reflection of Superman. So it is what it is, but I liked 4 out of 5. I think everyone will like this movie.
All right. There's definitely some things we haven't touched upon, which we still are going to talk about after I do my quick review here. I am going to give it a 3.5. And when I first saw it, I was actually pleasantly surprised, because I didn't think I was going to really like it at all, quite honestly, because traditionally I don't like Superman movies. But this is easily my favorite Superman movie. I wanted to give it a 4 when I came out, because it left me very excited for future DC movies, and it still does leave me excited. But like you said, there's some weird little things in this movie that I can't give it a 4. Like, I mean, there's some Marvel movies I've given a 4, and I'm like, nah, I wouldn't even compare it to those, because this is there's little odd things. So, I mean, like, all the things I said are why I like it. It's more like the comic. It's more like the animated series. They make, like, Superman actually a good guy. You know what I mean? He's the good guy where everybody else is a bad guy. You know what I mean? So he's still trying to be good, and that's what makes him the ultimate superhero, not because he's the strongest. That stuff I like. And all the ensemble cast, like you're saying, because he's in this big world of superheroes already, you got crazy, like, you got the Justice Gang, like, it's Green Lantern, Hawkgirl, and Mr. Terrific, which, surprisingly just end up becoming, like, really awesome characters throughout the movie. And and I'm excited to see more of those obscure, weird DC characters that they haven't done yet. I'm more interested to see them than I am seeing the Flash again, or maybe seeing. Trust me, I'm always going to be excited to see Wonder Woman or Batman. But I really want to see what they could do with some of their lesser known DC characters. So they used a lot of them in this.
Yeah, they really did. Yeah, you're right.
And that's why, even the ending with Supergirl showing up drunk and collecting crypto. And by the way, she's played by. the Targaryen girl, the young version of the Targaryen girl. I can't remember if it's Rhaenyra or Rhaenyra in House of Dragon, and I can't wait to see what that Supergirl movie looks like.
Yeah, I know, it's so funny. Someone had to point it out to me after that she played the Targaryen girl, the Generations. Well, yeah, the House of Dragon. She played the Targaryen. I also don't know the name. Everyone can hate me for it. I like Game of Thrones, not as much. That's a different podcast, but yeah, you're right.
We already did that one, yeah.
yeah, we already did that, and you already did that. And anyway,
you did it with us.
Did I? Jesus, yeah. This is why I quit drinking. Oh my god.
We did drink for that one too.
yeah.
We didn't drink on the We Promise show often, but yeah.
Probably whenever I was around. Oh my god. So stay tuned for Dave's sober review of movies. They're coherent.
I'll get her name there in a moment.
I think she is. It's Miley Alcock. Yeah, Miley Alcock. I think it is. That's what it is.
Did you say Alcock?
It's Alcock. Alcock. I don't know, man. Okay, people. Words. You couldn't say Lois Lane's last name, all right? Just because I got a sillier last name doesn't mean her name's Miley. I'm sure her friends call her Miley. You know, I call her Miley.
I'm sure.
Casually, you know.
Millie Alcock. Yeah.
Yeah. Is it? Did I get it wrong? You know what? The point is, she's Supergirl.
She is.
It's going to be great.
And I can't wait to see her as Supergirl. She looks great.
Yeah, I think she looks great. She's going to be great.
And even I'm also just ready for this like unhinged party girl version of Supergirl. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because she's going to be okay. It's obvious that the story is going to be her drinking on another planet. Like on a planet with a red sun.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And I think she's going to come across Lobo, and I think that's going to be the movie.
I mean, I think Jason Momoa is going to do a great Lobo, and if that's the whole movie, I'm here for it. I am absolutely here for it. And because, Supergirl, it makes sense. She'd be pretty messed up. She remembered Krypton. She should have memories of Krypton. So, imagining your whole planet dead, I don't think we've ever seen her really portrayed with the devastation that happens when you know everyone you know is dead.
Right.
So this is really going to be good for that.
And I'm excited to see that because, I'm excited to see a lot of this because it really seems to me that James Gunn is going for more like a comic book feel with these movies. That's why, I know a lot of people complained about the costume, but that's why he has those classic red trunks on again, is because that's what James Gunn is going for. He's going for the classic Superman feel.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have liked the trunks on the other Superman. I would have liked it. That's a different Man of Steel conversation, but I think the trunks are fine.
That's another conversation.
I don't need to talk about anyone's crotches, but I think the trunks are a great addition in any outfit. If Batman can wear weird bat trunks, Superman can man up.
All right, so yes. Take. So once again, trying to break down why I got this 3.5. That's all the stuff I really like and the stuff I'm excited for, which is why, it does get a high enough rating. It doesn't get the 4 because of the weird things that are in. So right away when Lois and Clark do that interview, right away I could see a lot of people just groaning and being like, "Oh God, is this what we're in store for?" And I'm just it almost broke me. I'm just "Oh God, I hope this isn't the rest of the movie." Just him and Lois arguing, that would be so bad. Thankfully it wasn't. I got to enjoy the rest of the movie. But I really didn't I understand she's trying to be a good reporter and all, but she can't give Clark, Superman, the benefit of the doubt. I get she's trying to ask the hard-hitting questions that maybe a reporter of her caliber would be asking, but also at the same time, come on, give the man a little bit of credit. And why are you making it seem like you're just attacking him? He makes a good point. He's people were gonna die. Doing the right thing. It doesn't matter. I'm still doing the right thing. It doesn't matter if you think that. It's I'm still gonna do the right thing. You know what I mean? I stopped people from dying. That was the right thing to do. No matter what you guys say or not. And that once again, it comes down to Superman's core values, right?
Yeah, it does come to his core values, and I think him talking about cross-border situations I think is really strong move to do in this movie because it opens up a plethora of things. But I think I gotta disagree, man. I think Lois hitting that hard. Like she's taking jabs, she's punting, she's going left and right. She's not showing she's gonna sit down and just sit idly while Superman saves the world. She's gonna save it too. And so I think it's cool that we disagree on this because they're two very interesting points of view.
Well, like I'm used to like Lois being competitive with Clark and stuff like that. But to me, I thought she kind of went a little too far with that. For someone that you're trying to be in a relationship with. You know what I mean? You've only been like with him for like 3 months or something. And he's a good guy, so why would you just once again, I get she's trying to be a hard-hitting reporter, but I'm just like, man, I don't know if I like this Lois. And once again, it wasn't anything to do with the actress's portrayal. She did a fine job. It was just how they represented Lois in this one I wasn't crazy about. Also, so that kind of brought it down. The parents thing, like you said, brought it down for me a little bit because I didn't like the way his parents were portrayed. They could have done that a heck of a lot better. Now, I don't know if I hate this. I don't think I hate it. It's just a weird part of the movie. And it's just like right in the middle, you're in the pocket dimension in the movie. And you go on this journey where you have to where he has to save Rex's kid. Like first of all, Rex is what's his name? The
Metallo. No, Metamorpho.
Yeah, is that it is? 1 second. I wanted to say Metamorpho, but I wanted to say something else too.
No, it's Metamorpho.
I believe you.
Yeah. Yep, it's Metamorpho.
I thought that maybe Luthor said it is Metamorpho. I thought maybe he said something different in the movie. But it's Metamorpho, and he makes kryptonite, basically, so Lex Luthor has him make kryptonite so he could basically sit there and hold Superman in place. But it's like, okay, so this is where it gets weird, right? Like, this movie is weird. Like, this is definitely a weird Superman movie. Like, you can't say that it's not odd. But we kind of expect that. We kind of expect that from a James Gunn movie, right? Mm-hmm. So when they save Metamorpho's baby, the baby is completely CGI. It doesn't look like a real baby at all. And for people who aren't familiar with Metamorpho's backstory or anything like that, like myself, actually, I'm just like, okay, why is his baby, I get he's deformed. Why is his baby deformed? I'm just like, okay. Once again, this is the benefit, this is like the pluses and cons of, just throwing you into a universe. You know what I mean? So now I'm just like, okay, well, what's the deal with this guy and his kid? What's this all about? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so it's a little bit weird.
Yeah, you're right. That is one oversight. Everywhere else, it kind of instructs you. It doesn't give you any instruction there. That one is just you make up your own backstory. Yeah, it's a backstory, but you can figure it out. Make something that's nice for you. Yeah,
and it's kind of just this weird little trip that you take in the middle of the movie. It's you're kind of in you're in Antarctica, you're in Metropolis. Everything seems very firm and the Superman world, and then you're just I don't know how long they're in there for about it's maybe the middle of the movie, maybe about 30 minutes they're in that, but it's just a weird little trip that you take on, and then you come back out and you're like, okay, that was fucking weird. Never seen anything like that in a Superman movie before.
Yep. That was it. Definitely now that you mentioned it, definitely stood out. I also something else about that jail scene was how absolutely everyone would do whatever Lex Luthor wanted. They were ratting him out.
Yeah,
they were ratting him out. Also,
because they feared him.
Yeah.
I think it's because they feared him. You notice when he knock over the pencils and he's pick that up. He tell his cronies to pick up the pencils, and then they'd set it all up on the counter again, and he'd knock it down again, and they'd go right back to picking it up.
Yeah.
A lot of people pretty much, the people who work under him fear him, it seems.
Yeah. I would be afraid to work for Lex Luthor. I would call him sick a lot.
Yeah. And this Lex Luthor, he's super smart. They've already established that he's been trying to how long did they say he was studying him for 3 years or something like that?
I think so. I don't remember that part exactly.
Yeah, but
he's been around for 3 years, so probably 3 years.
Yeah, so he's been studying for a while, and he's already made all these meta-humans to fight him, and he's just got this conveyor belt of ideas and concepts of how am I going to end Superman this time. You already got the feeling like in this world, he's already tried multiple times to take care of Superman. As like Ultraman is like so dumb, he has to call out what he thinks is the best. Well, one, it's either because he's so dumb, or maybe it's a little bit of both, or two, because he's pinpointed every move that Superman can do to the last thing, that he's got all these computers like generating, oh, this could happen, oh, let's do this move, let's do this move. He's like, oh, C46, like he's calling out things from Battleship, but he's like calling out these moves for Ultraman to do to Superman, because they're generating all the possible outcomes in like Superman's fight style, and because he studied him so well that he knows like all the possible things that he's gonna do, and he's gonna like, oh, this will be the best thing to do to him here. Hit him with this move, like.
And at the risk of going a different tangent, also, why was there like 12 operators for like each move? You saw Lex Luthor was bouncing around different operators. Like, can you just have one headset, man? Can you have one headset and just talk to the guy? You don't need to come from 12 different operators. Like, I mean, I don't want to talk about corporate efficiency, but I mean, you don't have it.
Well, I guess what I'm trying to say too is like he's just like, he's got a pocket dimension. You know what I mean? Like that's a big thing in this. Like he's made a pocket dimension. Like I really feel that a lot of movies are inspired. A lot of modern stuff that's been coming out lately. Ever since like Rick and Morty came out, people have been more wild with their sci-fi ideas. And I feel like doing something crazy like a pocket dimension in a superhero movie, like amidst all this other crazy shit that's already happening, is like totally fine, or like at least they, it's something they would do now that they wouldn't have done back then. And I feel that's a big benefit of just like the influence of like Rick and Morty on the world, because I find like ever since like Rick and Morty, there's been more multiverse stories, there's been more like zany sci-fi stuff, like just right out there crazy stuff that you might see in like a Rick and Morty episode. Like it's just like, correct me if I'm wrong. Like, do you see this too?
I think it's a lot of things. I think Rick and Morty have absolutely made dimension hopping seem like an easier suspension of belief, or suspension of disbelief. I don't know the expression right, but also we see just the amount of multiverse movies the Marvel has made. It's a lot of things really bringing this sort of other realityness together. Before, in the 90s, all we had was Sliders. And that was
true.
It. That was all we had.
Doctor Who, right?
Yeah, Doctor Who.
I mean, I never watched Doctor Who, but Doctor Who predates Sliders, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, Doctor Who's more like a time. Maybe I guess it was a too. But, Sliders is really all we had. And now with Marvel, we have an unending amount of multiverses.
Right.
Sure, we had some scatter.
To the point where Deadpool's making jokes about it and saying, okay, we had enough of the multiverse.
Yeah, it's a lot. So, you make this pocket dimension, which is, like you said, something that that's way more amazing than a Superman clone. That's the thing. We should be talking about that. But it really dilutes it, and I don't find it I find it's sort of becoming like a lazy trope, essentially. And I like a good multiverse movie as much as the next guy, but like I'm liking them less and less. So when I see this alternate dimension situation, oh, why can't we find Lex Luthor? Oh, he's just in another dimension. We're not going to talk about that, but he's there. You're right. It's lazy writing. I'm not disagreeing with you at all on this.
Well, it's not even so much that it's. I do think in Marvel's case, it's lazy writing because they've decided to make this whole phase of movies about the multiverse, and that's what sucks about it. And everybody else seems to be doing multiverse crap too.
Yeah.
So yeah, so they haven't really touched upon. I'm not saying the influence of Rick and Morty is a bad thing, because the pocket dimension was cool in this movie. It was a cool concept, but like you said, it's like it's mixed in there with Ultraman and Justice Gang and this and that, and it's a lot of things at once, which is fine. Once again, but
you could have achieved the same thing with the lead line room. Where's Superman? I don't know. Lead line room. Fine. Like, you could have achieved the same thing. It didn't need to be a pocket dimension.
True.
Maybe you're right. Like, it was fun. The pocket dimension was a lot of fun. We saw the prisoners. We saw all that. But all of that could have been achieved in a weird iron castle. Which
you're right.
I was trying
lead there you go. Lead room, and then you find out more of Superman's weaknesses.
Yeah, I think that we missed an opportunity for storytelling. Well, I'm really changing my... I know you're saying you love the pocket dimension. I like the pocket dimension. too. But now I'm starting to like it less. Because I'm thinking they could have gone other ways.
Well, I mean, once again, it ends up being the big thing in the end because they it's like whatever they do ends up tearing a rift in the world, and that's kind of like the big threat as opposed to the beam in the sky this time.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, you're right. It does move the sky beam.
So it's better than a sky beam, and but yeah, like you said, like the Ultraman thing. Like, anyways, I'm not gonna get too much more into it because I think we've talked about it enough. I did give it a 3.5. You give it a 4, and I gotta say, I'm really looking forward to seeing other DC movies in this universe done by James Gunn because I think this is a first really good intro to this DC universe.
I completely agree. I think this is amazing. If you like this movie, guys, check out Creature Commandos. Also great James Gunn stuff in this universe. It's a cartoon, but it's great. I think this movie is fantastic. It's a great swing at this genre, and I think we're going to see a lot of great movies coming out from James Gunn. This is only the beginning. He's ramping up.
Mm-hmm. All right, so like I said, I could talk about this for at least another hour, but we've already talked about this for over an hour. So if you like what you listen to, like, subscribe, share, all the good stuff. This is JPar signing out.
And this is Dave St. George saying goodbye.
Leave us a comment below. Let us know what you think of the Superman movie, whether you like it, whether you don't. Maybe we'll leave a comment to reply to you. Maybe we won't because, in the end, we promise nothing. Good night. Yeah, well, we'll get the timing on that. Good night.
Good night.